Semi-final stage of the women's sprint, and you're looking here at Victoria Pendleton leading off Anna Meares. They know each other very, very well, these two. The turning point for Pendleton's career came in 2005 in Los Angeles, when we had the same scenario here. They raced each other in the semi-finals. Pendleton beat Meares on that occasion 2-1, and from then on, she never looked back. But she's got to get the better here of Meares, and Meares is riding very, very close, which is intimidating.
Well, it's very hard to keep an eye on your opponent when they're so close. They're stuck in your shadow there, and Meares is, I think, trying to attempt to do just that, to intimidate Vicky Pendleton. And it's hard, you can't see where she's looking. Mirrored visor as well, but she is absolutely determined, Meares. You can see it in her body language.
Let's not forget either, Chris, this is a repeat of the Beijing final when Pendleton dispatched Meares 2-0 to take the gold medal. Now then, the adrenaline rush is about to unfold. It's crunch time here then in the velodrome. Can Pendleton put Meares away and get into the final and hunt down her 6th world title? Well, she's at the front here. Can she hold off the power of the former world record holder for the 500 metres? I would say that the answer to that is no. Meares has got the greatest strength, and the Australian draws first blood and wins race 1. Now that's going to be a real confidence booster for Meares, and it's certainly going to affect Pendleton greatly.
Well, it was with a lap to go, really, that Victoria Pendleton did the right thing. She had it pinned against the top of the track, but she came down early in the straight, and Meares, she carried on accelerating near the banking, kept her height, and so got that extra acceleration with slingshotted around on that penultimate bend there.
So race 1 tied it up, and it's in favour of Meares, the Australian. Now then, you can see the green marker against Anna Meares, which tells us she is 1 ahead, as you've just seen. Now then, what can Victoria Pendleton do? She's got to hit back here and show the Aussie that she's still fired up and wants to take it to a decider.
Well, I'm sure that Anna Meares would like to get Victoria Pendleton to first position. She rode well from 2nd position in the previous round. She'd like to do that again. Victoria Pendleton's going to know that. So we may see a little bit of tactical riding, I think, in this round.
A contrast here in the tactics, in so much as Meares is giving herself a window of clearance off the back wheel of Meares, which is what she likes, because she can work in that window of advantage. She's slightly out of sight, of course, as well.
Well, Victoria Pendleton's given a little bit of distance because she doesn't want to get drawn in and pushed into the front position. She'd like to stay where she is, and from that distance she has some room to accelerate, but also can't be controlled by Anna Meares. Anna Meares trying to draw her in now.
Well, Meares has been on fire all the season. She beat Pendleton in both rounds of the World Cup when they clashed over the last season, but Pendleton needs to try and reassert her authority. Now then, can she square the issue and take race 2? A little bit of work to do for her here, but she's not going to give in. Here comes the acceleration from Pendleton, up onto the shoulder of Meares, and she beats Meares. So it's 1-all. That will be a tremendous boost of confidence then for Victoria Pendleton.
Well, Victoria Pendleton pretty much, Anna Meares fell into the same trap as Victoria Pendleton. She came down to the bottom of the track early, gave away the advantage of that height, and Victoria Pendleton was able to come down and accelerate into the slipstream round the final bend to take it by half a bike length.
So Victoria Pendleton clinches race 2. Now then, get ready. The nerves are really jangling now because we're going to go to a decider. So there's Jan van Eyden, the coach, just pushing off Victoria Pendleton. Meares in the front position here. They will have both had some very interesting talks to their coaches, and really it's difficult to work out a game plan to see who's got the advantage here. There's very little to choose between them.
Well, we saw round 1, it made Anna Meares look extremely strong, and then Victoria Pendleton came out and gave the same dominant display. So I think you're right, it's very difficult to tell who's going to get the upper hand. Clearly tactics very, very important on this track. Really important to keep that height.
The respect for each other is beginning to unfold here as well, Chris, as it looks as though we're going to be treated to a standstill situation here. And of course what is happening is each rider is trying to force the other to make A mistake, or B, to surrender the position they're in. And believe me, that is skillful bike riding, because that is just where the banking starts to lip up to its steepest.
Yeah, Both of them have succeeded from the front, from the rear, and that's where they want to be. Well, Anna Meares won that battle of wills there, forcing Victoria Pendleton to take the lead. It's going to be hard for her to change that position.
Well, Meares has had a phenomenal season. She is the Oceania champion, the Commonwealth champion. She's just about got every medal, as I said earlier, apart from the gold in there. She has had a silver medal in the past, but she still would dearly love to hit the top podium spot for the sprint. But maybe Pendleton's got other ideas. We're getting to the business end now of this, and she's looking back all the time, Pendleton. It looks as though she's going to be forced to have to lead this one out. I don't quite know if that's the right tactic for her. I like to see her aiming for a wheel. Now as I speak, Meares is going to go then for the front position. It's getting critical. Coming up to the line now with just one lap to go. Meares beginning to wind it up here, and she's going to lead almost for the full lap. Now then, can Pendleton aim at the back wheel and get the better of the Australia? It's going to be a nail bite to this. Remember, at stake there is a place in the final to race it out for the gold medal. Up to the line. No, it was half a bike length the advantage, and it's Anna Meares of Australia that goes forward into the final, and Pendleton, she'll have to settle for a race at the bronze.
Well, I'm afraid she was drawn in there. She was drawn in close, and then Anna Meares kept her pinned high. She dictated the terms of the event, and when she started to accelerate, Victoria Pendleton had to do it from a dead stop. There was no slipstream to use. She had to do it right the hard way, round the outside in the back straight, and I don't think you can afford to make any mistakes when you're up against Anna Meares in this form.
Well, where Marcus was showing you the situation that Anna Meares wins 2-1 and goes in to the sprint final.